Many of you here and many of you watching have heard of or possibly have read a book by Tom Wolfe, which is called the Electric Kool-Aid Acid, or the Electric Cool Acid Test. It is the electric Kool-Aid acid test.
Both times.
That was electric cuckoo nest. What was,
no, just a second. It's helpful if the guests wait until they're introduced before they talk, all right? This book mostly concerned the activities of author Ken Kesey, the man who wrote, now here it comes, One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. Kesey volunteered for some of the early experiments the government of the United States was conducting with LSD. He liked it, and he began spiriting some away to conduct his own acid test parties during the early concerts of the Grateful Dead. From these episodes came the first connection between music and drugs. Would you please welcome two men who helped create what was later called... Now, wait a second.
Well, create music and drugs.
Never going to get a moment.
Don't mention it, folks.
all right.
Anytime.
But what about the sex and politics you promised?
It's a little later
Music
on.
and drugs
It's a little
nice.
later on when we get to the women out here, you know what I mean? Would you please welcome author Ken Kesey and his friend from the dead, singer and lead guitarist, Mr. Jerry Garcia. This may be old ground for you, but not for me or some other people. How did you first get involved with the tests that were being conducted with LSD back in the late 1950s?
I had a neighbor, it was a psychologist. He was booked to do the experiments that Tuesday. He chickened out. He says, you want to do them, $20, show up. They gave them to me. I did them from then on every Tuesday for 6 or 8 months.
Hunter was in on those, too. Yeah, they ran for a long time. Hunter was in on those, too.
There were about 120 of us down in Palo Alto, students and unstudents that were... The government wanted somebody to look in that room. They said, hey, we got a great room. We discovered this nice room. Let's get somebody to go in there and look it over.
So you went in, 8 months, looked over a room, huh?
Right, walked out, the government said, don't let anybody else in that room.
You know, the interesting thing is that the government may have started the whole LSD experience for all the people that tried that stuff, since they were the ones that set up the experiments to begin with.
Well, yeah, it's on a certain level. Maybe so. Maybe they made it available. But it was in the air. There was all those books out like Doors to Perception, all this. There was a tremendous curiosity about psychedelics, and there were some people who even had, who were able to get peyote buns in those days, before manufactured LSD was around. And so the psychedelic experience was known and, in certain circles, I think. And there were a lot of people who were just really curious and interested in finding out what it was about and what it was like. You know, it was a matter of...
It was like the space shuttle.
Yeah, it was something to try. Yeah, that's exactly right. He's right. It was a technological improvement, you know, something new. Yeah, or a fast car, you know.
It went to Jupiter. I mean.
Yeah, that's right. Exactly
It was the passage back that we had trouble with.
I understand. Isn't that all? Was I correct when I said that you took some of the LSD for your own use that did not involve going into Uncle Sam's room? What I'm getting at here is how you two finally got together and set up these concerts where both the band and the audience were, as they said at the time, tripping out in order to achieve a more positive blending of music and experience.
Is that a question? I got part of that. I got part of that. Yeah.
You work on it.
Okay. Try
Dry
this.
business.
Part of it was that we were in.
What are you recharging there?
Electric.
It's German wine. The acid came from Switzerland. Go ahead.
All right. At any rate, we were part of the same world socially, you know. I mean, that is to say, we lived in the same county, you know, and we knew some of the same people, Page, and some of the people in Kesey scene were friends of ours. And we were playing in bars and things like that, but we'd heard about Kesey and the Bus and their whole, they've been doing outrageous things for quite a while and had a big reputation for it. And for us, it seemed like a real interesting thing to go and check out. We sort of were invited, in effect, by friends of ours who were staying out at Kesey's place.
We kicked them out of the place 2 or 3 times.
Oh, yeah.
Before we invited them.
Yeah, right. We weren't exactly welcome guests.
Do you feel that you may have hurt yourself at all from all the experiments or experiences that you've had?
No. No.
Not yet.
All right, so far.
Yeah, right. What, drugs affect me? You kidding, huh? You feel okay, Ken? I mean, you're in full command tonight, right?
Oh, no, I think, I think, just for the sake of the record, I think that you don't get anything free. Everything bruises something, and so you trade off.
2, 3, 4, yeah. When you were playing, and I ask this because I've talked to musicians who've been around, let's face it, you know, dope is a part of the music world. It's part of the world, period.
Part of the world.
And I had one guy in here one night whose name escapes me, but would you like one too? But it was Ted Nugent, and he said, you know, I don't use that stuff because I've seen a lot of musicians use drugs, and they're not able to play. They lose their place. Were you able to function playing music while you were on LSD?
Well, not in a conventional way. I mean, you know, that is to say that a lot of you certainly lose a lot of stuff. It's something I wouldn't do professionally, you know what I mean? Now I feel more of a sense of responsibility to at least be able to be in command, to be able to play physically, you know. And there's this, the nice thing about the acid test was that we could play or not in the acid test, and a lot of times we would get we'd be too high really to play, and we'd play for maybe a minute.
That's what we'd call it, see?
And then we'd lose it, you know, and we'd have to leave.
But it felt like hours.
Too weird for me. You know, yeah. But on the other hand, sometimes we would play, and since there was no pressure on us, I mean, people didn't come in to see the Grateful Dead. They came to the acid test. It was the whole event that counted. So we weren't in the spotlight, and therefore the pressure wasn't on us. So when we did play, we played with a certain kind of freedom that you rarely get as a musician. I mean, we didn't have, not only did we not have to fulfill expectations about us, but we didn't have to fulfill expectations about music either. So in terms of being, you know, being able to experiment freely, you know, it was amazingly great for that, on that level.
Also, to keep it on the drugs.
Okay, and make it a short also, because I've got the commercial waiting.
Okay, there was a lot of other stuff going on in the same kind of consciousness expansion area, that musically, artistically, and drama, and this was part of a movement that was happening in the 60s. And not the main part of the movement.
Okay. By the way, do you see what happened then as just a moment or the starting of a trend or a tradition or an experience in this country that still goes on? No, I'll talk to you and the guys about it later, but I just want Ken's opinion on that.
I think it was the beginning of a real, true revolution that's still going on.
And you're still a part of it, right, big guy?
Sure.
Okay.
We can't quit the mob.
No, that's right. We will continue from New York and Los Angeles after these announcements with the Grateful Dead. Stick around.